Have you ever stopped and wondered where real power comes from? Like, the kind that builds empires, and sometimes the kind that brings immense cruelty. I mean, we all know Katniss Everdeen's story, right? Fighting the Capitol. But what about the story behind that story, the origin of that whole oppressive world and the man who ended up shaping it? Maybe it's more complicated, even tragic than we think. Today, we're doing a deep dive, going way back, like over 6 decades before Katniss. We're digging into the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes to explore the early years of Coriolanus Snow, right around the 10th Hunger Games. And our mission isn't just a plot summary. Nope. We want to pull out those key moments, those aha insights. How did this desperate kid, this brutal war, and these evolving games kind of twist together to build the Panem we know? We're aiming to uncover the making of a dictator and the real cost of just trying to survive.
Exactly. It's not just what Panem became, but digging into the why. How those personal experiences, things that might seem small, really forge one person's worldview and eventually a whole society's structure.
Okay, so to really get Snow, we need to understand the capital back then. And it's not the shiny city we picture later, is it? The sources paint a different scene.
Not at all. That's crucial. Forget opulent. Think damaged. The sources describe it as bearing the scars of relentless rebel attacks.
Scars, like literally.
Oh, yeah. Coriolanus' own home, supposedly this grand penthouse. It's got walls veined with cracks, holes in the plaster, even ugly black strips of electrical tape on the windows.
Wow.
This decay mirrors the Snow family's own fall. They had to sell things, trade things. The source even mentions them burning fancy furniture, loads of books, just to keep the family from freezing.
Burning books.
Imagine Coriolanus as a kid watching his own picture books turn to ash. It tells you this wasn't a capital overflowing with wealth. It was desperate, clinging on.
And amidst all that decay, Coriolanus is feeling this huge pressure, right? To keep up appearances. Like agonizing over a shirt for the reaving because his classmates have new suits.
Oh, absolutely central. That hidden poverty, the constant performance.
Yeah.
It defines him. And the source gives this amazing detail about his cousin, Tigris. She's the real MVP of keeping up that facade.
How so?
Well, to make him a decent shirt, she uses bleached curtains, dead flowers to cover stains.
No way. Curtains.
Yep. Velvet from an old plaque, even bathroom tiles she traded mending for. It's this whole secret operation. It wasn't just about a shirt. It was about survival, projecting this status they absolutely didn't have.
So that constant act, that hiding.
It drills into him the importance of control, of image, of deception, really. It becomes second nature.
And this kind of hardship, the source connects it directly to his ambition, doesn't it? Losing his mother, his sister, his father, even scrounging on the black market as a kid for, like, lima beans.
Yeah, those early traumas of the bedrock. It wasn't just about wanting nice things. For him, Tigris and Grandmam, it forged this almost pathological need for control. Not just, status or nobility.
Right.
The source is clear. His biggest fear wasn't just being poor, it was being powerless. Becoming a penniless academy graduate, sent off to some district he saw as barely human.
So the ambition comes from terror.
Pretty much. A terror of being helpless again, of being at the mercy of chaos. That's the aha moment. It wasn't just inherent evil starting out.
Okay, let's shift to the games themselves. The 10th Hunger Games. Definitely not the slick production we see later. Held in a rundown amphitheater, people avoiding it.
Right. It was seen as kind of a failed experiment. The source describes it as sickening to watch for many in the Capitol. The guy supposedly behind it, Dean Highbottom, he's portrayed as basically out of it, doped up on morphling, barely holding on to his job.
And he has this weird tension with Coriolanus.
Yeah, this underlying animosity. Hints at some backstory there about the game's origins. But the big problem for the game makers then was just basic engagement. How do we get people to watch this thing?
It wasn't polished at all.
No, it was crude, unloved, desperate, struggling.
And into this steps Dr. Volumnia Gall, head game maker, weapons expert. Sounds ominous.
She is the game changer in a really chilling way. The source calls her the mastermind behind the Capitol's experimental weapons division.
And her philosophy about humanity undressed.
Terrifying. That's humanity undressed. That's mankind in its natural state. For her, chaos and violence are the baseline. And she directly tells Coriolanus, there's no Hunger Games without the audience. She understands the spectacle aspect.
How does she influence Snow directly?
She doesn't just teach him cruelty. She gives him a way to justify it. And intellectual framework. Like, it's not him being bad, it's just human nature. That starts early.
Oh, right, that field trip story.
Yeah, the source mentions her melting a rat's flesh and casually asking if kids had pets they were tired of.
Ugh.
That kind of early exposure, normalizing brutality, it sinks deep into Coriolanus.
Then comes the mentor program. New idea for the 10th games. And Snow gets Lucy Greybeard from District 12, the joke district. He sees it as a slap in the face.
Totally. Public humiliation is how he thinks of it. Seems ironic now, huh?
Definitely. But this capital experimentation, it wasn't just aimed at the districts, was it? Tell us about Clemencia Dovecote, his classmate.
Ah, Clemencia. Yeah, her story is a stark warning. She lies about writing a proposal Dr. Gall liked, and Gall subjects her to this weird Dr. Gall test with genetically engineered snakes, neon snakes. She gets bitten badly. Her skin ends up mottled with bright blue, pink, and yellow scales. It's horrific.
So even capital kids weren't safe.
Exactly. It shows Gall's absolute power and willingness to use anyone, a lesson that fear and control applied everywhere, even within the capital elite. That stuck with Coriolanus.
But amidst all this darkness, you get these unexpected connections. Lucy Greybeard. Her reaping is something else. The snake, the singing. She grabs the spotlight instantly.
She completely shatters expectations. She's not a terrified victim. She's a performer. A natural, as the source says. Her charisma, her telling Coriolanus she sang for my supper, it shows this different kind of survival skill.
And challenges his view of district people.
Big time. He's surprised she defied easy definition. It chips away at his prejudice that they're all just bestial or second class. She forces him, maybe reluctantly, to see her humanity, her complexity, and that's unsettling for him.
Yeah, you see this growing sense of familiarity, even closeness develop despite everything he's been taught. But then there's Sejanus Plinth, the rich kid, the boy with the sandwiches.
Sejanus is the moral counterpoint. He's feeding tributes in the zoo, calling them citizens of Panem.
He sees their humanity.
Absolutely. It's a direct challenge to the capital's whole dehumanizing project. And then he actually goes into the arena to retrieve his dead tribute, Marcus. That takes incredible courage and empathy.
A real act of defiance.
He represents the path Coriolanus could have taken, the path of empathy. But, well...
But Dr. Gall sees an opportunity, right? She twists Sejanus's kindness.
She does. She sees him feeding the tributes and immediately suggests, hey, maybe the audience should send food. Bet on them.
Wow, the birth of sponsorships from an act of compassion.
Twisted into a tool for engagement, yeah. And then things get even darker with Arachne Crane.
His classmate, the mentor.
Right. She's killed by her tribute during an interview. Slits her throat right there.
Horrifying. And the capital's reaction.
Instant spin. No time for grief. They immediately frame her as another victim of the criminal rebellion. Propaganda 101.
So Coriolanus learns.
He learns that reality doesn't matter as much as the narrative. How to twist tragedy for political gain, how to control perception. It's a huge lesson for him.
And then he gets his own taste of violence in the arena himself.
Yeah, he ends up in the bombed-out arena, forced to kill another tribute, Bobbin. He frames it as self-defense in his head.
A huge shock compared to his capital life.
Definitely. And Dr. Gall is right there afterwards, reinforcing her philosophy. She tells him basically, don't blame circumstances. You made the choice. You did this.
So she validates his violence.
Or at least validates his agency in choosing it. It forces him to own his capacity for brutality. No excuses. It's a foundational moment.
More tragedy follows. Jessup, Lucy Gray's district partner, dies from rabies.
Yeah, contracted in the capital, ironically.
Yeah.
From a raccoon bite. A horrible, painful death.
And Lucy Gray's reaction is notable.
It really is. While the capital cameras roll, she stays with him, comforts him, even covers his face with Coriolanus' napkin after he dies.
She sees him as human, not just a game piece.
Exactly. It's pure empathy, a direct contrast to the game's cruelty. She shows this deep compassion that Coriolanus, well, he's still drawn to it at this point, but also moving away from it.
And that move accelerates with Sejanus. Sejanus plans to escape with rebels.
Yep. He's totally disillusioned, and Coriolanus faces this agonizing choice.
He chooses betrayal, uses a Jabberjay recording.
He does, leading directly to Sejanus' capture and public hanging. That final cry of "Maw," echoed by the Jabberjays, it's haunting.
Lucy Gray is there, devastated.
And for Coriolanus, this betrayal cuts his last real tie to empathy, to genuine connection. He chooses ambition. He chooses himself. It hardens him. That echo of "Maw" becomes a reminder of his own ruthlessness, not Sejanus' fate.
His punishment, or maybe reward, is being sent to District 12 as a peacekeeper, where he finds Lucy Gray again, a chance for a different life.
For a moment, maybe he thinks so. A future with her, away from the capital.
But it doesn't last. The incident in the shed.
No, that hope shatters fast. They run into rebels. Mayfair Lip, the mayor's daughter, is there. Things go bad, and Coriolanus makes another calculated choice. He kills Mayfair and 2 others. Again, self-defense in his mind, protecting himself and Lucy Gray.
But it's different this time.
The source notes his chilling internal thought. This killing was easier than the first.
Easier.
Yeah, that shows a terrifying desensitization, moving from panic survival to cold calculation. His moral compass is really broken now.
And after this, Lucy Gray sings The Hanging Tree. That song
Becomes incredibly significant. Haunting after the Shed murders, and as you said, echoes all the way down to Katniss's time, a seed of rebellion planted in music.
which leads to the final break, his betrayal of Lucy Gray.
His ultimate betrayal. He realizes she knows too much about the murders, about his cheating in the games. She's a loose end. So he decides to hunt her down in the woods, to kill her.
Does he?
The source leaves it ambiguous. His bullets are spent, the woods are alive with mockingjays singing her song, The Hanging Tree. She vanishes.
But his intent.
His intent is clear. Any affection he felt was conditional. When she became a threat to his ambition, his self-preservation, she had to be eliminated. That's the final step in his transformation.
So despite, or maybe because of all this, Snow lands on top, returns to the capital.
Gets adopted by the wealthy plinths, Sejanus' parents, the irony. Climbs the ladder, head game maker, eventually president. It confirms Dean Highbottom's cynical prophecy. Snow lands on top.
Meaning the system rewards.
Ruthlessness, deception, a total lack of empathy. Those weren't flaws to overcome. They were the keys to power in Panem. The tyranny wasn't built just on abstract evil, but on the elevation of choices made out of fear, ambition, and calculation.
But Lucy Gray's influence doesn't completely vanish, does it? Her songs live on.
Right? Especially The Hanging Tree. It survives in District 12, passed down through generations. Katniss's mother knows it.
So her spirit, her resistance, it finds a way.
Exactly. Even when Snow tries to erase her, that art, that music, born from real pain and defiance, it endures. It bypasses the propaganda. It becomes this quiet, resilient seed of the future rebellion that shows some things. One sung can't be unsung, you know.
It's quite a journey. This deep dive really shows how the Hunger Games weren't inevitable in their final brutal form. They grew out of desperation, out of ambition, and yeah, out of Dr. Gall's chilling ideas about humanity. It really makes you think, doesn't it? About the small compromises, maybe, the choices made today that could ripple out, shape things in ways we can't foresee. Are there parts of our own past, maybe forgotten origins, still echoing in our present? Coriolanus Snow's story is a stark reminder, even when you try to erase the past sometimes. Sometimes its most powerful songs and its darkest secrets find a way to sing back.